Welcome back to Portable Universe. I'm your host David Witham. We've got an action-packed episode today, so let's get right to it. We're going to start with an event that happens every January when people from around the world converge on the Anaheim Convention Center for the NAMM show, the National Association of Music Manufacturers. It's everything to do with music. Guys in three-piece suits, guys with hair 5 feet tall, and everything in between. And this event is closed to the public, so we thought it'd be fun to give you a behind-the-scenes look behind the velvet rope at NAMM 2013 at the Anaheim Convention Center. Let's check it out.
Well, we're here for the NAMM show, 2013 NAMM show, which is a gathering of people who make, sell, or use music and sound products. For those of us who are in the music industry, this is like our annual gathering. And so it's a traditional trade show where new products are introduced and sales meetings take place and retailers and distributors get together with manufacturers, but it happens to be music. So on top of all that is this great excitement about the artists and about what is really breakthrough technology, or even in some cases I think we have one of the oldest Stradivarius violins that'll be here on display. So it's really the yin and yang of new products and this love of tradition that we have of handcrafted, beautiful instruments that'll last well into the next century or beyond. Well, so basically NAMM is a platform, right? I mean, basically it's just a place. And all these companies come and all these people come from, I think, almost 100 countries. And they're the ones who bring all this. I mean, they've toiled all year long to invent new products or to, build and literally people over workbenches building these things, And they come here to NAMM. Sometimes it's the biggest trip of the year for them. Sometimes it's the only trip of the year for them. And they come here to California and it's beautiful and nice weather. I mean, some places they're coming from, it's not very nice right now. So they're excited to be here. They're excited sometimes to see friends and peers. New products are introduced, distributors and buyers from around the world take it back to communities around the world to sell to their customers. And then there's a tremendous amount of live music and concerts and parties. That, of course, when you get this many music people together, they're going to have that,
NAMM honors the past while embracing the future, and sometimes the future reaches back and breathes new life into old instruments such as this one here, the Mellotron.
Hi, I'm from Mellotron, and I'm based in Sweden. I have all the original master tapes of the Mellotron, and I'm making Mellotrons with tapes, and I also make Mellotrons that are digital. And right here we have a 73 vintage Mellotron that has flutes, strings, just like it was used by King Crimson and Moody Blues and Led Zeppelin and Rolling Stones and almost all bands in the 70s.
Hi, welcome to the NAMM show. Where are you from?
Hello, I'm Jay. I'm from Missouri, and I'm with Farmer Musical Instruments. And what we have here this year is our Farmer Foot Drum, Custom Deluxe, version 5. It's a drum you play with your feet, all enclosed, cymbals, snare, kick drum, shakers, jingles. And it's totally portable and on the go.
The technology in keyboardist Don Lewis's rig could probably fit in an iPhone now, but we suspect Don Lewis is having a lot more fun than you could ever have with an iPhone.
Out of parts that were probably on display at some NAMM show at some point, and but we pulled it all together because it was becoming unwieldy to have a keyboard for each one of these. And so here we go. Well, let's try this one here.
So, yeah, if we're talking about the ukulele craze, you know, it really wasn't a big artist that really drove the industry. It was actually more of a grassroots thing. It was, you know, in social media, guys on YouTube, girls on YouTube. So ukuleles, you know, are just, they're fun. They're super fun to play and enjoy and sing along with people. And yeah, can't be happier being here, representing it.
From copyright protection to music wood to finger exercises, NAMM does cover it all. Here's a few examples of some unusual things you might find in your local music store this year.
These are chord dice. Every dice has all of the chords in the key of G. We're going to just roll the dice, and then we can put them in any order we want. Because they're all in the key of G, they're all going to sound good together. And there's your chord progression. This is the song that you're going to play. So basically, you can write something new, get out of a rut, great for teachers who are teaching theory, students who are learning theory. I mean, basically, to rock, you just roll.
The angle is the first percussion instrument ever made for guitar. Provides more rhythmic variation as well as tonal variation than you can possibly get with a pick or with your hands. Includes a chordal striking head as well as single note striking head made from cherry, stainless steel, and polymer. We'll give you a demonstration here. Tone and essentially becomes your own delay. If you want doubles, if you want triplets. Also engages single strings easily. The angle.
Let me show you some of our lights here. Here's one of our products, the cupola panel.
Wow. So is this used in concert settings?
Concerts, nightclubs, karaoke, and bars.
Nice. And where's it made?
Made in Taiwan. Distributed out of Pico Rivera, California.
Beautiful.
An instrument that really caught our attention was the wheel harp, a mechanical instrument that produces a very ethereal bowed sound. Then there are those moments that could only happen at the NAMM show, like these. Kelly and Ernest Tibbs, renowned music business professionals here at the NAMM show, tearing it up. Pat, good to see you.
Good to see you, Dave.
What brings you to the NAMM show this year, besides playing for Matchless?
I this magnetic thing just drew me here, and I could not resist, you know.
To see my friends, people I haven't seen in a while, and hang out and play some nice instruments like this.
People we haven't seen for 1 year.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, all the best.
I've met the true celebrities, and my number one coolest thing, and that's Rock for Vets, based out of Long Beach Veterans Hospital. Who are we dealing with here today?
I'm James Elliott, bass player, Rock for Vets.
Excellent. And you, sir?
Dale Ekstrom, keyboard player for Rock for Vets.
Fantastic.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tomo Meek, and I'm one of the drummers for Rock for Vets.
Rock for Vets. These men have served and done things far beyond people's imagination, and they're here. Look at that, basking in the joy of music. Great to see you guys.
Great to see you.
Take care.
Thanks. Go Navy.
That's quite an event, isn't it? The next thing on the docket comes from the Portable Universe Vaults. Episode 14 in the year 2000 brought us a gentleman named Phil Upchurch to play a few songs for us. Phil's a very famous guitarist and has played on hundreds of recordings and is generally known as an electric guitarist. But in this case, he came to our studio and played the nylon string classical guitar. And you'll hear a couple of songs and some really good stories about his life in the music business. So here he is, Phil Upchurch. Welcome back to Portable Universe. I'm your host, David Witham, and I'm very happy to have in the studio today Mr. Phil Upchurch. Welcome down to the universe.
Hello, Dave.
You're doing something a little different today. You're playing the classical guitar. Can you tell me a little bit about what motivated you to pick that instrument up?
Today?
Well, just in general.
Oh, I thought you meant today, because today was out of laziness. I didn't feel like bringing the electric and the amplifier and all that other stuff.
Well, who could blame you?
But actually, you know, the nylon is so easy. Well, I started on ukulele.
Really?
So, and then I got an electric guitar after that, but I just always enjoyed the sound of the nylon string guitar.
It really sounds beautiful. It's really a lovely sound, and you really put a nice thing to it, I must say.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've been doing this music thing. You just told me you've been doing music for 42 years.
Professionally, yeah.
That's incredible, man. And you've played on a lot of records. How many records do you think you've actually played on?
You know, I don't know if I went over 1,000, but certainly hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Oh, my goodness.
400, 500, 600, maybe a grand, I don't know.
You play with a lot of famous people, too. We started the show with somebody you worked a lot with, Curtis Mayfield. He's somebody that's in our memory right now.
Yeah, I met him, we met up when I was about 16 years old, or younger even than that. And I was always, his playing style was always always really just sounded clear as a bell, and he sounded like nobody else. And actually, Curtis has been one of the most influential musicians on my style of playing, even though he doesn't play, like a solo style.
Now, somebody told me that he used to tune the guitar differently or something like that.
Like they call it cross tuning, like a chord.
Like some folk musicians do that too, right?
Yeah, and that way they can play major chords anyway with minimal amount of fingering. But then when you start getting into diminished and flat fifths and all that stuff, then it can become just as tricky as tuning any other way.
Yeah. And in addition to working with Curtis, you also did a lot of work, very important work with Donny Hathaway, and played on his famous live record.
I met Donny while he was the music director for Curtis Mayfield, as a matter of fact.
I didn't know that.
They called me like 2 o'clock in the morning. Hey man, can you be at the airport this morning at 7?
Oh.
Curtis's people, so it was like a last minute call. And that's when I met Donny Hathaway at that time. And his playing, man, just totally knocked me out. And we got to talking about, he was living in Washington, D.C. at the time. And I said, man, sure it'd be nice if you were around Chicago. I'd put a band together. He said, you think I can make it in Chicago?
Oh my goodness, Donny Hathaway. I mean, that's amazing. Wow, and we share one musician in common. We both spent a lot of time with George Benson.
Yes, sir.
You played guitar on Breezin', and you played on a couple of CTI records before that, right, with George?
Yeah, I did one CTI record with him, Bad Benson, on which he did a couple of my compositions too. No Sooner Said Than Done, and Full Compass. And then the following album was the Breezin' album on Warner Brothers.
And that changed everybody's life, didn't it?
Sure did. They were thinking, well, if we sell 200,000-300,000, we'll be real happy, George. And the record, I think, is over 11 million at this point.
And you contributed mightily to that record. I mean, you wrote some songs and played bass. You played bass on Breezin', didn't you?
Yeah. Matter of fact, if you flip that album over and look at the back of it, my name is on it more than George's. Just not as big a print.
Yeah, right? Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Well, you're a hero, you're a guitar hero, and we're really glad to have you here in the studio today. And I think we better turn it back over to you and some good blues here.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Got it.
That's all for now. Tune in next time to Portable Universe, because you never know what's going to happen here. Remember, there's a portable universe inside your dome. Always take it with you when you leave home. See you next time.